What's up, guys?
Oh, I'm muted, sorry. What's your favorite food, Kwame?
My favorite food? Beans and rice.
Okay, go back to the main room.
Yeah, how do you get to the main room, though? Oh, crap.
The 9th through the 11th.
Great. And you made a list of each of your teammates' favorite foods?
We each said our favorite foods.
What is it?
Huh?
Tacos.
Tacos, cheeseburger, steak, all that.
Fried rice.
We were so close.
Good brown rice?
Fried rice, not
Fried
brown rice.
Oh, like
We won! Did we win?
Important
yes,
distinction.
you won that round.
Woo!
Right.
Yes!
Y'all were good with it. Okay, last.
I had so much green around. I was like, I can't
Hate
lose
that.
this.
I got all my green.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Brandon.
You know what?
Sorry.
I'm proud of all of y'all. I see you. Yes, I see you, Tony. Last round.
Oh, and I have green shoes on the floor. I mean, I have green everywhere. Yeah.
You are cleaning it up. Okay, I'm
It was
opening
a challenge made for me.
I'm opening up the room. And there is round 3 in the chat.
Hey, can you put me back in the other room?
Yep. Who are you with?
With Kwame and Anwar.
Okay. You're 3. Done. Okay.
Load of dice. Yo.
Was that guy from the last call on the board too?
I forget. I forget his name.
I
Then
don't
it
remember.
says,
Let me just check.
Or pictures of someone pet. Who got a pet? Do anybody got a pet?
No.
A team, it has to be whole team. Sing me a couple of lines from a song that has the word girl. Baby girl.
That's easy.
That Drake song.
Oh,
Yeah.
frick. Someone already
Dang.
won?
Yeah. Dang.
We had to pick one of these?
As a team, sing me a couple of lines with a song that has the word girl in it.
Who runs the world?
Girls.
Who runs the world?
Girls.
Oh,
You're
wow.
that was so good. So good. Well, good job. All right.
Did we win? Yes.
You did win, yes.
Did we get a stipend?
You get a second. Y'all got $6,000.
Did we get a stipend?
Welcome to closing week. That is your activity to get you in the mood for what's about to happen next. Welcome to the folks who missed the opening game. I'm sorry. Hopefully we get to do it again sometime. I'm going to call in Novia to the space, who's going to, hey Elaine. Wait, is Novia here? We lost her? Yes. All right, it's fine. We're just going to go with welcome. So what I'm going to do is briefly go over what we are doing for today and tomorrow, okay? So here's our agenda. And we will share these slides later today so you can see. So as you know, we just did our opening activity. And now this is the official welcome. And so this is what's going to happen over the next 2 days. The first session we're going to do is going to be led by Elaine. We're just going to have, you're each and collectively going to look at the goals you set when you started this fellowship. So we're going to do a goals check-in. And then we're going to have a break. So you'll note that both days you have 2 breaks per session. Oops. No. We're going to have a break at that point, and then we're going to go into goals development, which means you're going to set up new goals for the next 4 months, right? Like, so we don't want you to leave the fellowship without having a plan in place for what you do next. Then we'll do another break, and then we're going to be joined by the great, the one and only Dr. Callie, who you met during our impact measurement session. And so, like, for that session, we all talked about, like, how do you, like, collect the data to measure impact. This session was going to be focused on how do you communicate that impact to specifically funders or investors. And then Brandon's going to, like, close us out, where he's going to, like, talk about naming of the cohort, and then we're going to end with survey. Um, for tomorrow, for the folks who haven't done it yet, the post-fellowship survey needs to be done by the end of the day today. Michaela shared it in Slack. If you didn't get it, please let us know. We will share that link here. If you cannot find the time to do that survey between by the end of the day today, you let us know. We will create time on your calendars an hour before tomorrow's session, and we will just sit with you while you do it. Do we love doing that? No, we don't. But it's really, really important that we get this data. Like, as you all know, we're a nonprofit, we're a 501c3. This is our impact data, right? The information you're providing to us is what we share with our funders that allows us to do this work. So it's really, really important that we get this information from all of y'all, 100%. Then, official start of tomorrow's session, we'll have a welcome, and then we'll dive right into our wellness accountability check-in. So if you have been checking in with your accountability person over the course of the 4 months, wonderful. We're going to have our last official one tomorrow. If you haven't, that's okay. Hopefully you have an opportunity to do that tomorrow. Shauna will stop by just to wish you well. Even though this is not the end of your Camelback journey, right? You're in it for life. It is the end of your fellowship journey. You are entering a new part of your journey. Then we'll have a break. We'll talk about what comes next. Specifically, alumnihood. You will share the name of your cohort. Then we'll do a reciprocity ring. And then we'll talk about how you prepare for Guardian Summit and other conferences. And then we will officially close out of the fellowship. Does anyone have any questions about what's happening over the next 2 days? Thank you, Elaine. I'm seeing your message. Yes, it is so important. All of the things we're able to offer you is really boils down to the information you provide to us. Okay, it does not seem like we have any questions as such. Elaine, can I hand it over to you to do our goals session?
Yes, we are moving early. Okay, great. Fantastic. We're about 15 minutes ahead. Just so everyone is aware, if we're able to move ahead, I have no desire to keep us longer. So I will try to hold to my time, and maybe we will finish early. I don't know. I don't know.
Let's
it's
do it.
possible.
Let's do it.
I'm here if we can.
Okay.
Great to see everybody. Yes. Fantastic. Great to see everybody. I'm actually going to change my view so I can see you all a little differently. Want to just also first start and say congratulations. It honestly feels like these 16 weeks have flown by. I don't know if it felt that way for you all, but it definitely felt that way for us. This is our second time having a cohort of this size, and you all definitely have continued to expand our thinking and what we know we can do, and also areas we can continue to grow, so we can make sure that you and all of the vast opportunities that you represent through your different ventures can continue to hopefully include the Camelback legacy as you build your new footprints going in beyond the cohort. So for goals, I think one of the things I really want to just kind of frame it with is we'll spend some time thinking about currently what you had, where you were, and then I really want us to, I'm excited about how we can think about what comes next. The what comes next conversation, just so you're aware, we just finished strategic planning. This has been a almost 12-month process because we started with a phase 0, I'll say that. But it has been intensive. We've been working with Bridgespan, if you're familiar with them, and it is not like a passive engagement. This was expensive. It was time intensive. I'm naming the price because you get what you pay for strategic planning. I'm gonna be honest with it. This was not like, here's some workshops, worksheets, and you just fill it out. It actually was intensive. And as a result, I'm excited when we talk about the next steps for your goals, in that I'm actually able to introduce some of the concepts and language that we have in there, because that's actually going to give you a better idea of where we're going in our thinking and how we would like for you to even think about your future goals. So we can go to the next slide. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes of independent time just to think. So as we're thinking about where you have been, what you have been able to accomplish over the past 16 weeks, the goals that you set 16 weeks ago, not to, you know, be reductive in any way, but I do think there is true transformation that is possible within the course of a 16-week cohort. I like to think of it of the difference between when you look at a child, people always wonder and say, like, why are babies measured in months? Like, they don't understand quite. A baby that is 4 months old and a baby that is 8 months old is drastically different. They have different skills. They're moving different. They're literally able to sit up on their own comparatively. And so when we think of your early stage venture, this is your baby. You are starting off. Some of you are in different stages, of course, according to being early stage, but you have developed new skills in these past 16 weeks that are in alignment with your goals, that are going to help you to reach milestones you could not reach possibly 16 weeks ago, 4 months ago. And so I'm going to give you just 5 minutes until about 25 after the hour. If you can just look at your goals that you have, pull up your goals worksheet, think about what is the goal, have you accomplished it? We don't have to go in detail. It's a yes or no. Did you scrap it? Is it relevant? Yes or no? And then if there's anything that you can think of that is a learning or a different rationale that you have put in perspective, given the fact that you've spent the past 16 weeks working on this goal. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes just to have some personal reflection, and then we're going to go in breakout rooms where you can actually share with each other before coming back as a whole team to debrief. Sound good? All right, so I'll see you at 25 after the hour. Well, so are we recording? Oh, we don't have to. I was just going to say pause if we were recording, but it's all good.
We can, but not right now.
that in a sense, I feel like I have, because on some level I've been consistently presenting myself primarily as like the founder and CEO of Bear Health exclusively. But in this moment with AI and everything that I've been reflecting on, I feel like I'm kind of having like an identity shift and want to present myself differently. And things still include Bear Health, but like Bear Health isn't the sole focus. And so, how should I shape and present myself now, given everything that has changed for me?
Hey, I wasn't planning on being here the whole time, but I also, like, I don't really have anything to do, so I free to just hang out. So, sorry. I was responding to your message.
I'll give folks 3 more minutes, just so you have a little bit more time. that was the longest 1 minute ever. I was like, every time I looked at the clock, it said 29 after. I looked like 5 times. So that didn't make it move any faster. No problem, Emma. All right, so we're going to open up the breakout rooms. We'll be in the breakout rooms 10, 12-ish minutes. Again, this is not meant to be exhaustive, and like this is my only chance in order to participate and have this discussion. Really, it's just open discussion in your breakout rooms. If you want to maybe take turns, I've put people in pairs, just prioritizing 1 or 2 goals and just giving a general status check and really focusing on, things that you learned and even potentially what's next, especially if it's a goal that you are continuing and you're building on as you're going through because you just haven't completely gotten there in reaching it during our time for the cohort. So I will open up our breakout rooms. Thank you, Salam. And I'll give you a 1-minute warning.
What's up, bro?
Andrew, what's up?
Hi everyone, how's it going?
How you doing?
I'm good. I feel like a little bit defeated after looking at the number of things I did not complete and I thought I was gonna complete. And it's okay. Yeah. I don't know, how do you guys feel after the exercise?
For me, I listed out all my goals for the year essentially, and I put timelines on when I'll complete different phases of it, so I'm on track with my phases. Because I didn't do goals just for the program. I just did it for the year, and then looking it out. So I'm tracking actually. Doing pretty good.
That's great.
Except for one of them. I need to. Have you guys used expert bench yet?
No.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm like, I didn't use none of the expert bench. But I was gonna use all those hours to help develop my application. And that's one piece that I didn't get to yet. So that's one thing I'm schedule on, but everything else.
Yeah. I just honestly found my coach so helpful that I was like, oh, I didn't think she's my expert so far. So I feel like after the coaching situation ends, I feel like I'm gonna use more of the expert bench.
Who your coach?
SK?
Oh yeah, SK was my coach too.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I think she used Clement as well. She's like, Clement, me, you. Yeah, SK is solid. I'll meet with her later today.
Yeah. Do you guys know what happens afterwards, like with the coaches? Like, we just stopped meeting them after this week, right?
Actually haven't talked to her about it, because I got a meeting with her next week. I don't know. I was going to let her tell me. But, I think we just use our expert bench hours too, though.
How are you doing, Kwame? It's just me, I can't hear anything.
I don't think he said anything. But, remind me again, what's your business, Andrew?
Mental health for immigrant and minority youth nonprofit. Yeah. Oh, you're cutting out for me. What did you say?
Again, you said mental health, and then it chimed out.
Mental health from immigrant and minority youth. And I think Anwar, I feel like both of us have this. Think you're still with I'm in residency, so I feel like a lot of this, my struggle has continuously been like trying to figure out how to run a business while in residency.
I'm not at school at all.
Yeah. Well, you're working, right? Like you have a full time. I don't know why it's cutting out.
What about now? Can you hear me?
Oh, much better. And maybe am I better?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Can y'all hear me?
I can
I
hear
can
you.
hear you well now.
It just sounds a little, kind of like far away, just a little.
Oh, okay, okay. Nah, I get it. But nah, I say, nah, I'm full time in the business.
Oh, okay.
All right. Now, what about now? Can y'all hear me now?
It's about
I
the
can
same.
hear you great.
Yeah.
Oh.
You say it's
It's about
the
the
same
same.
or far away?
Yeah, I can hear you. It just sounds like a little far away. That's all.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. What the fuck is tripping? Here, I'm just letting you know. Cool.
Well, how things been going with you, bro? Kwame?
I mean, my goal for the program timeline was to get 1,000 qualified leads, which is basically users, registered users, and get 200 paying members. So every user gets a 30-day trial, and then after that trial, they choose a membership level to continue. So we reached 540 registered users in the time frame, and we got a little over 50 paying members. So not quite my goals, but I'm not mad at just that initial test that we ran for driving downloads and membership. We got some data to go off of, right? Like we know how much money we spent on advertising. We know how much. So basically, we know how much it costs us to get each user on some level, and I think we have enough data to get a little bit of cash to run a larger experiment on getting users and converting them into members. So the goal ideally would be to end the year with 1,000 at least paying members. And based on our current customer acquisition costs, that we only need like 30 grand to reach that point. And so I feel like I can go get that to run that experiment based on what we have so far. My goal is to get 200 members or 300 over this period, and then go probably raise like 150, 200K to get to like 5,000 plus paying members. But this is what we got so far, and so we're gonna go raise a little bit of money to get to a smaller mark. And then
That's what's up.
yeah, so
How much is the monthly subscription for your platform?
it's $40 for 3 months or $110 for the year. So we only have two subscription options. And one of our main challenges right now is that we don't have because we don't have auto renewal subscriptions, because that's just not the way that our developers develop their technology. They typically license their technology out to large insurers that aren't doing direct to consumer models. And so we're like one of their only direct to consumer use cases. And so that's just not something that they just had like in place. And that would be like a custom build technically for their white label product. Um, One of the main things that we've been reflecting on over the past month and a half since like AI became, or since it became possible to build tools with AI, is like pivoting to where we have more control over the user experience, the development, the technology in general. So we're in conversation with them to see what the pivot would look like. Can we come in on the front end, bring you guys in on the back end through APIs, so on and so forth, just to like really address some of these gaps in retention that I think would have led to a higher conversion percentage. Not that 10% is bad, right? That's not like a terrible conversion, but I just know that there were gaps in the user experience, user journey, that if we corrected for through by improving the technology, we could have seen higher retention. So, and then we can also add things like, share with friends to get, months free, things like that. Just like there's so many things that I know I want to do that just aren't necessarily the way that the technology is designed right now. So that's really where we're. But we've gotten people to pay us despite the clunkiness of the journey. We've gotten people to pay us and consistently engage with the product. And so one thing I learned early on is that like if you can get even 5 people that like consistently engage with your product over time, then like there's something worth, continuing to dive into there. And you just got to find the right systems to make it seamless so that more people can come into it and understand why they decided to, invest their money into the product or service that you're providing. So I feel okay, like overall, like as far as like how the 16 weeks went. I'm definitely busier than ever, and like really had like some pause over the past month around what like I want to do personally, given like the new changing landscape with AI. Like it seems like that's where I should be spending most of my time as a human being, and not even as much on my company. So like that's how big this moment feels to me. And so just reflecting on like how do I, just kind of like take on a new path, incorporate AI obviously in everything I'm doing with Barrett, but really go after some of these even bigger challenges, bigger problems that we can now take on with AI.
That's solid, bro.
Yeah.
Solid. Question I have for your business though, is it primarily B2C or have you thought about
right now? Yeah. Right now it's B2C, and that was really just to get some data and also get like some stories around like the value propositions from actual people. And then the idea would be to go to a larger entity like hospital system, a payer who wants their beneficiaries to have access to what all that we offer. And so that would be like the next phase. Ultimately, we always want to have a direct relationship with our end user. We don't want to be a customer of the payer or a customer of the hospital system. Like I don't want to be designing my tech for them kind of thing. I mean, I'll modify what kind of data we can capture based on what they may be interested in. But like I don't want to feel like that's my customer. I know that that won't wake me up every day. And so it's more like like you subsidize access to our tools and services for your beneficiaries, and then you do a data share, aggregate data share situation, or depending on the type of provider. If it's a provider, they want like personalized data from the user, then different agreement there. But yeah, that's how we scale ultimately.
Yeah, because remind me again, it's like you develop to get you like a wellness score essentially, right? And it's all these different factors that help generate an overall wellness score that is assessing, correct?
Yep.
And
yeah, that's right.
Because I met I was in a pitch competition. I was applying to be in a accelerator with Arch Grants in St. Louis, and one of the founders they created, the name of the company is called Peer Network. And how they expanded those, they went to health insurance plans. I do B2B2C, so I get paid through the health insurance plan, and then I provide service directly to their members. And where I do B2C, and the member can just pay me directly. But they were primarily B2B2C, and they were B2B2C, and they created for the health plan to pay them. So it's like peer network. They provide like social services to people like getting mentorship and so like it's kind of like behavioral health. They were getting like paid directly from them, and then they service the members directly. I was like, it sounds like something similar you could do to help
Mm-hmm.
like create your model to just like you can impact thousands of people and just get a lump sum from the health insurance plan and just reach out to them directly to help expand your model. I don't know. I just thought of that. That's
Yeah,
what I thought.
yeah. I mean, I think that that's the play, especially how we get access to larger populations. Ultimately, like they struggle, like they're trying to do these things already, like digital health and stuff like that, but they struggle with engagement, and that's like our primary like sauce, if you will. And so just wanted to kind of show that, um, and then take it. But so, how do you have any insights on how they got those conversations and got the deal, like even just the pilot version?
They went directly to the health insurance because what was valuable to me is they negotiated like the entire rate. Because with me, I'll reach out to the health insurance plan. They got like a provider specialist. I connected with to be able to say, hey, these are the services we provide. Looking to get contracted with you. But they negotiated their entire rate. Like these are one services that they already were credentialing for. It was like a brand new service. I could connect with the founder to see exactly how he did it. But primarily how I do it, I just reach out to the provider, like relations specialists, and they evaluate the business, see what services we provide, and then they already have a contracted rate for the type of service I provide as homemaker service.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, but yeah, I connect you with him and ask
Yeah.
uh, how he actually connected with them. Kwame
Mm-hmm.
too, the one too. You know Kwame Liddell, he was on the
Mm-hmm.
call last one, the
Yeah, no.
last.
Yeah, I'm feeling. I know.
Yeah, he'd be a good person too. Figure out how to directly contract with the healthcare plans for a service that they don't normally contract for. I think that's the biggest thing. I think similar for you, Andrew, too, because you offer the behavioral services. I don't know how you get paid, um, but
Say that again.
if you have, I was speaking to Andrew because I'm not sure exactly how you get paid, but that could be a revenue for him as well. The health insurance plans.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't really explored that. We're mostly at like foundation phase, and you know how they said just like focus on one funding stream. So, fortunately, like we have our next 3 years covered, and the insurance just feels like a little bit hard. Like you need to be in the right place in the right time, and it's just harder. So good luck. Yeah, like we feel yeah,
It's not hard. It's just a lot of steps.
yeah.
It's just like getting to A to Z is like 1,000 steps. That's it. And compliance, you gotta document everything. But it's not hard though. Pretty straightforward. But it's a lot of steps. Stressful. Awesome.
All right. Actually, Swan, we can stop sharing for this slide, and I'll
Okay.
actually for the next one share on my screen.
Okay.
Fantastic. So yeah, I think we have most everybody back. Great, and we had a couple other folks join. So let's see, Dario, we're gonna start with you. Do you mind just sharing any themes or revelations? That's a good word. It's a big word for Elmo. That came out from your conversation in your room.
Yeah, I mean, well, the first one was it went by fast. It felt fast, and then we were thinking, well, what if it was a year-long thing? That'd be interesting to consider. So then we jumped into like the convenience of like the sessions and the relevance for each of us, and if there was like an opt-in thing, and so there was that. and then we talked about each other's goals, where they're at, and so we all kind of had like similar answers where we met some of them are still in progress. And then the final was more of like a comedic one where we were seeing what music albums we're waiting on. Like I said Adele, you know. Someone said Beyonce, someone said Genevieve, like, you know, it was good music, but yeah.
Is Adele supposed to be having another?
Yeah, I was surprised. I thought she was done.
Yeah, she's done till she's not. I will say also, just random, I had a conversation with my daughter the other day. We were listening to a couple of minutes came on by Olivia Dean, and I was like, ooh, Adele would have ate this up. Like, that such feels like it would have been on 19, not like in her more current things, but I could definitely see her in like first album. That would have been a good fit. All right, fantastic. I'm just curious for anybody that wants to pop in, who scrapped a goal? Like, you came in, you were like, this is my goal, this feels good, and then at some point you were like, yeah, this feels weird how I'm trying it on right now. This doesn't really fit me, and I think I need to. You didn't even maybe set another goal. You just knew that particular goal was no longer it for you.
I had a goal to raise $1 million in like venture, and then I like dove really deep into venture. Like when I saw you at a South by Southwest, Elaine, like I had spent like a whole day at the founder's house. It was like a Black VC kind of thing, and I was just like, I don't know, I just realized that like as soon as I sign a venture check, I'm like signing up for like a massive exit, and if I'm not driving us towards a massive exit, they're gonna fire me as a CEO. And I'm not ready to like give up that control for something that I think can create such social impact value. So that was the one of the three that I was like, yeah. I mean, maybe I'm still reserving the right to go and raise, but for now, I decided like I'm not gonna go after that. Stay poor.
I was literally just about to say, also, there's a lot of ways to get $1 million.
Yes,
like,
there's other ways. I've been writing articles trying to like put some pressure on some of these philanthropies to step up. You know, I'll take some money from a philanthropy. It's not a venture capitalist right now.
Yeah. I think, just quick question, have you had many conversations with philanthropies?
Yeah, I mean, I've been really lucky because some of the writing that I've done, plus the Anthropic partnership, has made a lot of funders interested. But this is, sorry, I'll get off my soapbox in 1 second, but I hate this freaking feast or famine thing with philanthropy where it's like, you're absolutely like commando crawling through the mud, nobody's supporting you, and then all of a sudden you're hot, and then everybody wants to give you money. I'm not at that point yet, people aren't throwing money at me, but I can feel it, like it's close. And I'm just like, I hate that, y'all. Like, give me money in September, like, be like Camelback. Give me $50,000 when I need it. And then, like, I'm crawling through the mud, not like when everybody wants to pile on. And then, like I said, I'm not there yet. People aren't giving me money, and I'll happily take it if they do. But, yeah, so I've had great conversations with Tides Foundation, GitLab Foundation, Crankstart, Tipping Point, like a bunch of really dope folks. I just, you know.
We will, I don't want to make the Stay 4 hashtag popular, but I feel it though, because literally what you just said, literally you said it as a joke, you know, stay poor, but ultimately what you also said is stay rich in values,
right?
Stay rich in mission, stay rich in like who you are, and so that is the flip side. Unfortunately, I think there's some truth to that narrative in social impact work, but also still like a stereotype, but it is a stereotype based in a lot of truth. Like the idea is we should stay poor trying to help the world, which really doesn't make any sense when you think about it. So,
like, why am I funding all this amazing stuff out of my retirement when like these philanthropies have so much money and they all love it? They're like, this is amazing. I'm like, and maybe I shouldn't be funding this out of my retirement. Maybe you should be supporting it. I don't know.
There's an idea. An idea. Anyone else scrap a goal? Anyone have any big, just like epiphanies, or even feel like they hit like a breakthrough while they were working towards one of their goals?
Yeah, for me, for sure. I think that like one of my goals was like, oh, I want to raise $200,000 for this particular fellowship, and I realized that like just my fundraising strategy wasn't refined enough, and that I needed to like go about the strategy. And it just really made me think about like how am I pursuing what I want, not just like looking at the end goal. So yeah, I think a lot of things and strategies just got refined. I think that's also like me just starting this other coursework too, but I think that comeback came at a really divine time in my leadership where I was able to really think about how I'm pursuing what I'm pursuing and how I'm scaling with support every week, and someone to really talk through those things with every week, whose sole goal is making sure that I do hit the metrics that I'm seeking to hit.
Thank you for that. I will say, Brianna, what's been a delight in when I hear your reflections is truly from the first week even to now, you ask a lot of how and what questions in your reflection. Like when you're looking at things and you're talking about, how am I going to do this? Like this is the fundraising goal, but like also how am I spending my time? What am I spending my time on? Like, I think people always focus so much on the why, but the what is like questioning what does it look like? What are the pieces of it is just as important. And I hear you pull that out every single time, and the questions are getting like sharper and sharper for you. And so I just want to tell you, I noticed that. I know we don't see each other all the time, but like even in the interactions that we have, it's very obvious to me.
Thank you so much. My coach said the same thing. So like, y'all.
I might tell a joke, but I don't tell a lie. All right. Anyone else want to share any aha moments, any, breakthroughs, different reflections that they might have as they were continuing to look at the goals that they've set for their fellowship? Hey, Kyle. All right. What is so fascinating about this group is not only normally when people don't want to answer, they look away. You all maintain like strong Zoom eye contact while also like deciding I don't want to speak, which is new. I've not really seen that before because it's also like most of you are on camera. So most of you are on camera. It's like a good 10 people looking me dead in my face in the Zoom and saying no. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate that too.
You're going to stand on it really, really hard. I appreciate that. All right, so let's go to, let me pull up the deck here. So, of course, when you set your goals, we set them around this framework of you setting a SMART goal. We're aware SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant. They're also time-bound. Maybe last year was when one of our program partners, Nadia, she helped us to kind of pull this apart even more. And what we were able to identify while looking at a lot of folks' goals is they happen to find, usually fall, again, it's not always guaranteed, but in these 5 categories: people, money, leadership, personal goals, or things that were related to strategy or their board. And so really want to think about what are the skills, habits, and strategies that brought you to where you currently are, but also how do you think about what has to come next? And so when I was at the New Schools Venture Fund Summit a few weeks ago, Camelback is in their community of practice, and we're in this group with about 4 or 5 other organizations. And so it's been really, really helpful just to have a community of practice that doesn't feel like we had to set up and choose our own adventure. It really, like, they put a lot of thoughtfulness into like how we come together and what we talk about when we come together. And this was a phrase actually that was the theme for our community of practice meetings. They even had it on like the little toiletry bags they gave us as like a keepsake, and I was like, oh, that's different. But this idea, and I've heard this before and I love it, I also heard most recently, prior to New Schools Venture Fund, mentioning it was one of our alumni, Antoinette Banks, mentioning in her interview. And we were like, you just won $1 million from Black Ambition. You have, a lot of traction right now. Like your name is really like not warm, it's hot right now, and like bringing a lot of attention to you. And we were like, why Camelback right now? And she said, because I know what got me here is not going to get me where I need to go next. Meaning she still had gaps in things she needed to learn as a leader, as a fundraiser, as someone that's setting up operations within her venture. And so I named that as we're thinking about what comes next. It's not so much as thinking of, yep, she came through Camelback. She was in cohort 14. So this time last year, she was, am I getting that right? It was 14, not 15, right? Yeah, 14. Because she was, I think of 15, I think of 15 Big Dogs. Yes, she was with Kwame and Liddell, 14 sales a day. Yes, so that was that whole interesting group. They were very committed to that idea. But I think it's just really important just to kind of how to center this next portion of the conversation. This idea of what got you here may not get you there. There's still more things that you have to reconfigure, you have to learn, you have to think about, more people you have to share and engage with that are going to help you in these different categories as you reimagine your next evolution of your goals. Also, we're going to go through these concepts and then we're going to take a short break, and then we'll come back for our second part of that conversation. And what I mean by people, again, what are the roles if you're thinking about for your next iteration of your goals? What are the roles you need to fully implement, whatever it is that you set? Really thinking, yes, Andrew, please take care of that. Thank you. And thank you for joining us also while literally saving lives. I think this might be a first time. And Salam, I always say we're not doctors and saving lives whenever we're meetings and trying to think of our timelines. I can't use that line here because we literally have somebody saving lives. So yes, thinking of them. And Andrew, honestly, at this moment too. But as you think of the category of people for your goals, we've talked about hiring. We just had a hiring session. Continuing, I honestly implore you to continue to think about this second one especially. What are the roles that are needed to allow you to work 90% at least as a CEO in the next 12 months? Even if you're not working 100% on your venture, but I would push it a little bit and say, again, functioning as a founder comparatively to moving into the CEO role, they're not the same thing. They're not synonymous. The CEO requires a different level of executive function and decision making. It requires a different level of external engagement. It requires a different posture, to be very honest. People aren't just clapping for you because you made something. That's really cool and important. You actually have to show that it is important, it is worth other people's time and investment. So thinking about who you need to hire, not just so you continue to continue to function in your current state as a founder. That is also, we're all self-appointed leaders essentially when we found our own venture. So it's not that you worked yourself to the CEO. You may only have 2 employees and nobody knows that, and you are the CEO. So it's not to say you climbed up the ladder, and that's okay. But you have to actually shift your mindset into functioning as that CEO. So thinking of who is needing to be at the table with you to help you function in that full CEO posture. I see Robert's question. What if I'm 100% a CEO and I want to be down 100% as a CEO because funding is tough? I actually appreciate that question because I'm going to tell you what that looks like, Robert. That means that you also are having the necessary reflection at what your strengths are. And also, even if you might be great at being a fundraiser, it just might not be where your passion is for what you want to do. And so when I think of that second question in regards for you, then what does it look like for you to actually hire a development person? Not a COO that can also fundraise and do a really what is the level of person you need to hire to focus on development so you can lean into the things that your area of genius is that adds extreme value to your organization just the same. Doesn't mean you're hands off with fundraising. I told you all before, and you've met Naima and Tasha. We have another person joining. We have a really, really robust development team. They are fantastic. Shauna also is still our number one fundraiser, but she's also not the person writing our grants. She's not doing our grant reports. So she's having meetings, having conversations. She's making the connection, but she's not the one that is like operationalizing it all the way through. So it might not be a chief development officer. It really, literally may be somebody that they are focused on taking the grant writing and the grant tracking and the connection follow up from when after you meet somebody, they're scheduling the follow up and doing everything and sending your decks to you. So thinking about again, what does that role or roles look like for you to be able to function in not just as a CEO, but in the best version of yourself as a CEO, just the same. Does that help, Robert?
Thank you.
All right. Money. So again, thinking of whatever your goals are to fully implement, to get to where your next stage is. I think we have several founders that come in, they have a product and they want to sell to schools. Well, there's a lot of information that we still have to learn and a lot we already know about school sales cycles. But one of the main things that schools are looking for is they're looking for an adoption, a complete adoption for something for at least 1 year. So if I was talking with one of our alumni, Shauna Knox, maybe in last summer, we were talking last summer, and in order for her to build out 3 more lessons for the emancipation game, or math game for elementary students, she needed about, I think she said, $375,000. And at first she was like, I can get the rag built with like 175. I was like, that's not what I'm asking. How much do you truly need to be prepared to sell to schools? Because you can't go to schools with only 6 months of content. I'm like, why? What are they going to do? The elementary schools, they were the same teacher the whole year. So they actually need to have, a full year of content. And so again, thinking about like what's the true amount that you need for that. Again, understanding your runway and your fundraising goal makes a very big difference in how you structure your goals. So it's not as simple as like my goal is $1 million. Like really scoping it for what is the amount that you need to get you to do the things that you need to do, be it working full-time on your venture, or being able to finally launch that product or program you have, or being able to afford to bring on additional team members, not money necessarily for money's sake, because I do see that a lot. Knowing what I know about Justin has like $1 million and he can track it to what he needs to spend and all of that, of course, also to pay himself finally a proper wage. But there are people that often, how much are you fundraising for the year? $1 million. Why? It's a big round number that feels good, but there's not necessarily something they can track. Like it costs $1 million for me to get to the next level in the next 12 months. Being able to articulate that is really, really helpful as opposed to just saying like, I need $1 million just to have it. All right, leadership. What skills and experiences do you need to accomplish? So it is not unusual for folks at this stage to go to different accelerators. We are in an ecosystem, even Camelback. We talk often about what does it look like to fund a pipeline of peers, or for our pipeline to actually fund the same people. So for me, most aspirationally, I would love if in the next 12 months, a goal for me in my ecosystem engagement is where I'm sitting at the table with my peers that are at Cafe Group, that are at Echoing Green, New Schools Venture Fund, New Profit, and I'm saying like, hey, Ege and Robert just completed these two. We're talking with folks at Fast Forward also, like they actually would be a great fit if, I think they're ready for you all. Do you mind having a call with them and explaining more about your program to them? But it has to make a fit because it's not just because they offer a check. Morgan Stanley offers a $150,000 check. It's not about necessarily passing the funding. It is because I'm naming those people because I know they will benefit from the skills and experience they're going to gain in that program. And so I think that's the thing to think about. Like, don't always just be drawn like they give money. I know I can get that accelerator. I know I can get in that program. They're also going to lock you in for 6 to 12 months. and you're going to have to show up and go to sessions, and you have to turn in things, and you have to talk to people, and you have to do other things, and you have to ask yourself, could I have actually spent my time that I'm spending on this program fundraising $150,000 a different way? So if you're only going in for the money, that's actually the opposite of what you need to do. If you know that I can participate in this program because it's going to pour into me as a leader and enhance my skills and experience in a very specific way to help me get to the next level, that's kind of how you should be thinking through that decision making. Otherwise, like, get the money, but also you need to make sure it's helpful and impactful for you. Just checking my chat really quick. For fast forward also, I would say, Robert, if you haven't ever had a conversation with Scott, you should check in with Scott Gorell. He's really tapped into the fast forward team and can give a lot of insight to the application process. I would also say if you schedule a meeting with Scott, schedule for 45 minutes to an hour. He is like a fire hydrant of information. So, and he's personable. So if you schedule for 30 minutes, you're gonna feel like, oh, I missed out on so much good information. So for anybody that may be interested in exploring fast forward, yes, he was still facilitator. He's definitely also on our expert bench. Scott Burrell is the man, and he's also very tall if you see him in person, so don't be surprised and have big eyes at first like I did. Personal wellness, I cannot harp on this enough. Everybody on this call falls into one of these two categories. You're either identifying or you're a biological woman or you're a person of color. And the reason I name that is because those are the two groups that are really susceptible to stress-related disorders, stress-related illnesses, harboring a lot of responsibility that transforms into stress that we hold in our bodies, that manifests in stress-related illnesses and disorders, weight gain, insomnia, depression. And so I don't, when we say how do you manage your personal wellness, I really implore you to not just think of simply just saying like something that feels generic. Really try to think of like, what is a stretch? What is something you're not really doing to take care of yourself that you really need to stop putting it off? Because if you're able to take care of yourself in this way, it's ultimately going to create more space and higher performance in your other goals that you set, because you're the healthiest version of yourself, and mentally, physically, everything that can actually participate and work on those things. All right. So let's take a 10-minute break. And when we come back, what I'd like for you to think about is what goals and categories will you need to prioritize in the next 12 months as you're working to build durable, high-impact ventures that can sustain growth, sustain and grow. And when I say grow, like, it could be grow your revenue, your impact, your influence, your customers. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to, it's not one thing specifically over time. So like thinking of what can you do? Honestly, I consider 12 months like almost term. In the next 12 months, that feels like short term, that is going to really set up your venture to be able to withstand changing economics, changing policy, the temperamental taste of funders and customers. Like, when we say durable, that means standing the test of time. As a startup, you are literally every day working to beat the odds. The odds are usually not in your favor, especially startups that are created by women and people of color. 3 years is, the pie gets cut significantly for who makes it. 5 years, it gets cut again even more significantly. Some of you have already been doing this more than 3 years, and so you already are defying the odds. And so as you think about the next 12 months, how is that setting you up to even get past the 5-year mark? And what do you need to prioritize? Because you can't, by yourself, do everything at once. So let's come back at 25 after the hour, and then we'll just touch base about this idea. You'll have some independent work time, and then you'll go into breakout rooms for a little bit. All right, see you in a few minutes.
we have to take a break? Hey, I guess I just had a quick question.
You don't have to take a break. You can come on and talk also.
Cool. So just
And
curious.
also, really quick, Gerald, no problem. We had a whole conversation about the time zone, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Instead of continuing with existing membership, because they,
It's all good.
instead of activating
Yeah, Robert, what's up?
Yeah, no, I guess I was curious for Guardian Summit if we're gonna get a list of like who's gonna be there so we could plan accordingly.
Yes and no. Not a full
instead
list,
of
so we
continuing
are
existing
actually sharing the full agenda that has like who the speakers are, that you also can see who some funders are. What I'm trying to, there's two things. I can give you some names. I just need to distill them. Like, I don't need permission. I can just go on the registration lane today. I don't know why I'm whispering. It's nobody else from other teams that are in the room, but I'll be able to share some names. We actually tomorrow, I'm really excited. Inovia has a segment where she's pretty much going over how to maximize their Guardian Summit experience and even how to leverage AI to properly align with who you're going to see there, who you're going to, you might want to connect with in some way. I would also say if you all have not signed up to participate in office hours, you should. We can drop that form again so you can sign up, but that's a really good opportunity as well.
I signed up for that. The only thing that I was a little bit confused when I filled out that application was the financials. It wasn't clear what type of financials y'all were asking, so I submitted a document. I don't know if it's the best document.
Don't worry about that. Actually, I gave feedback and the form has even been changed that like we're not asking for that. So that's like not even super relevant. So don't worry about that.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Also, I guess is it too late for like our last one-on-one or?
No, and you can also just schedule anytime. That's fine.
Make it a little bit more condensed.
I will. Fridays are my most open day for the next few weeks. So I will say, like, if anyone's looking to schedule with me specifically before Guardian Summit, if you can just do it on a Friday, that gives me a lot more availability. Like even this week, Friday, I have availability.
Okay, great. I need your Calendly link, so I'm just gonna send you an email. Thank you.
You don't even have the link. Just tell me the time you can meet on Friday. Give me like 3 times, and then I'll send the invite for you.
Actually, anytime on Friday.
The access requirement.
After probably 10 a.m. because I wake up late.
Because basically we're struggling.
No problem. Yeah, and also I will say I apologize everybody for my helter-skelter schedule. You all have had so much grace and just appreciation I have for you for me having to make a lot of switches. I am not traveling until Guardian Summit, which I am very grateful for. Like people say touch grass. I just wanted to touch the floors in my house for more than 2 days in a row. And so no more California trips like they were back to back and other places in between. But I just also want to tell you, like, one, I apologize for all the consistent having to change messages, but I really appreciate just like your grace and the graciousness everyone's given me with those adjustments.
Is it possible for me to get on your calendar this Friday? I mean, with Salon, but I haven't met with you at all.
Yeah, no problem. Also, whose voice is that? I don't see their...
It's Gerald.
Oh, okay, yeah, not a problem at all.
I don't
and so
have your link.
Friday is, you don't need the link. If you just give me a time on Friday, email it to me. That's the best. The reason I don't want to give my link is because I will, right now, it'll look like I have no time and you'll have to schedule like a 30-minute random time. Whereas like I have more time, I can look and see like where the block actually is not a true block.
Yeah. Or I mean, I'll see my calendar right now.
Yeah, perfect.
Elaine, 11 or 1?
Let's do 11.
Okay, thank you.
And Robert, I'll send it now.
Great, thank you. Also, obviously I don't want to waste the rest of the
and one idea was like, is there ever like stipend funds for like group meetups, learning sessions, like stuff like that?
Should
Like we
the
were talking about having our own
access
retreat.
thing say something along the lines of, as a part of our mission?
No, not at this time. However, that is something that I have on the agenda for my next one-on-one with Shauna. What basically we're describing, I'm glad you mentioned it because I'm hearing it more and more, which is basically people are wanting to come together and collaborate. They're wanting, Ege has brought it up. I know our Chicago folks have mentioned it. And so I'm still working to see one, what that would look like and how much actually could we give to truly not it feel like you could afford a bus ticket and a slice of pizza. Like it actually has to be something that would be beneficial, but also for us, I think I'm trying to ground it in like what is the data play. We benefit, for example, we just actually got one of the Margolf collaboration grants based off of like we met someone from Surge Institute. I did. Shauna's known Surge Institute CEO for years, but I just met their chief program officer. We had like a conversation during the New School Venture Fund COP. We're both in that, and we were like, we should do something together. I was like, sure. You know, everybody says that. Then like 3 months later, they're like, no, like here's a draft proposal. What do you think? And I was like, oh, this looks fantastic. This actually will help fund some research and something we wanted to do. So we're like, that's on a larger scale. We can't give big dollars, like it's $30,000. That's a lot for that thing, collaboration. But I'm trying to figure out also what that will look like. So I will say if anybody has an idea of like Robert just described, it's a group of us that are doing similar work, would love to come together. If you can even start to give me ideas of like, what are you looking to fund and how much it'll cost? That will help me to get that information to like, I can't afford to send 4 people to Palm Springs to meet at a hotel for 4 days, but like it might be, that helps me to scope it more and to make sure the ask is more realistic.
Perfect. Okay, I'll email them. Great. Thank you. Thank you.
Will it still be inside as well? Yeah, and it's up to you. Typically, we don't move that couch. Okay. Everything on that station over there, everything else by the thing we will move. We have like storage space available. But yeah, is it gonna be a ticketing thing? Or just an invite? Just invite, yeah, just really invite. Not really ticketed. Okay. Got you. DJ? DJ, yes. So
Okay.
DJ, food, cocktail, dessert.
You're gonna have a bartender or
Most likely I have a bartender, yeah. But I like to get in a small bar setup as well. So yeah, it's just basically just really like
yeah, yeah.
actually literally like 2 blocks from where I live. So that's
Oh,
what
really?
we do, yeah. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay.
So yeah, James is dope.
Yeah, Jersey, yeah. That's actually my birthday. So
You don't have anything that night? You're doing something that morning?
yeah, that's the big thing is it's a really big thing. And a lot of people wake up and have things planned. So that's literally
Hello, Madeleine. I have a
There's
question.
also full bar next door with whiskey and steaks.
it's a full bar and steak.
My co-founder
A
wants to
full bar.
attend
Okay.
a Shauna session and she may do a discount. So how
So
can
how does the full bar feel?
proceed with that? How can
It's like a regular. It's just
I
a
remember,
regular.
yeah, I'm
Okay.
sorry for not getting back to you on that. I will connect you with our EA who will send you a
You can
link for
actually
that.
book it
And
directly
we'll take
through
care of
me.
it.
Okay, you want?
thank you so much. And
No problem.
for
Peer space
our
takes a lot of money, so
not
I
yeah,
prefer
I
people
got
book through
Sure,
peer
sure,
space.
sure. And how do you take the payments
12.
as well?
Pretty much
Yes, from Naima for
payment
lightning
method.
talk.
Yeah,
We
it's
use
a
Stripe,
short talk,
which
but do you
Okay,
know
I'm familiar with
Stripe?
Stripe. I have
So
Stripe
let
for
me
my
okay,
know
business.
more
cool,
about
cool, cool.
Okay, so you got the phone
registration
number so
and
I can
how much
contact
I
you
need to
directly.
pay.
Yep. And what I
Yeah,
can do is
so
I can
it's
send you the
Naima would
invoice,
be the
and if you
person,
decide to move
but I
forward,
can
then
tell you
you'll have it
just a
and you
minute.
just pay it,
I'll
and I'll
see.
confirm everything.
Okay, cool,
I
cool.
was just
I'm not sure if
looking.
you have the email on there or just
Yeah,
send it to
what's
directly.
your first name? Edgar?
Yes, Edgar, and then Robert last name.
I was just looking at something for that yesterday.
Email?
Email is teamee106@gmail.com.
So the lightning talks, I'm just making sure nothing changed from how we have facilitated them before. It actually, it's the
Phone number?
so it's
504
basically
544
It's the I Am Camelback Fellow opening, and so it is, I think, 1 minute, like really quick narratives of telling about yourself. You know, there's no slides, there's nothing like that. It really is just like not even a pitch. Here's who I am. Here's what I do. Yeah, that's all it is.
Okay, thank you so much.
Very limited prep. Literally,
Billing
what you
address?
would just say to somebody in like
Billing address
conversation
is
if you were at a conference introducing yourself, and
1427
just a little more polished. That's
Dublin
it.
Street,
And
Dublin
this may be very specific, but one of the
70118.
schools we work is in Ukraine, and they decided to expand how they use Tokido, and they want to open a Tokido Academy in Ukraine. If you
Oh wow.
know any funders who can
Is it 118?
Yep.
fund like our project together, can you
Just give me the phone number one more time.
tell me?
504
So this is hyper
504
random that you said that. Actually,
52.
let me reach out
And then have a question. If I did want to
to
use these figures, would I need to
let me
use
see something.
Yeah, you
Hold
can
on.
pretty much use anything in here.
What
Catch
the no?
like that snack
If
rack.
you want to just
Yes.
put the blurb that you want to use to Naima, I'm on those emails, and so you can just send us what you want to say
No,
at,
no, no, I was
at
talking
a
about
different time
the
if
one over
need
there.
be. We've had a couple of people that are like,
But also,
so much has happened, and
that's
we've
not
helped them
removable.
kind
You
of
have to cover
get
it if you
down
want
to
it
a
covered.
concise message. So
Maybe some drapes or
feel free to
something like
respond to
that.
her email with what you want to say.
as far as the wall painting on the wall, how about that? Is that
Oh, we can paint over
So
most of it. Like
there
I can paint over
is
90
okay?
minutes if you want.
If I needed to get something to cover
so
it,
when I
or
worked with
Yeah, it just depends. Like if you want the whole thing covered,
Scratch, I also
usually like
worked.
it just kind of
We
falls
had
into the
funding.
background of the
Sorry, my
event.
computer's
right,
People
glitching
will be
because
like,
I've got
oh,
a
so
bajillion
yeah,
tabs
that's
still
gonna bother
open.
me, but then also
Um,
it's not even affected.
gotcha,
So,
gotcha.
just close limits here.
but I'll probably have that one removed by then for sure.
Give me 1 minute. Stop sharing there.
And so it's
My
going to be
computer, I think,
5
is
hours.
finally getting to that point where it's like, I'm sick of your shit. Like,
Well,
post
that was
everything.
before,
But
that's why I was asking
when I worked with
about
Scratch,
the
I did a
actual
lot
what's
of
it
work with
called?
Lego Group and Lego
But
Foundation. Lego Foundation, through their
five
Learning Through Play
percent
initiative, actually,
5 for the official
Ukraine
event.
is still
yeah,
one
for
of
the
their
official
focus
it was
regions,
before,
and
but
actually work with
is
2
combined.
organizations in
I give
Ukraine
you like a
that were
$100
doing
discount
block-based
for
coding and
booking
learning
directly
through
through us,
play,
so
and
it'll be
co-design some curriculum with
11.50.
them. So
Okay,
2
that's
things.
actually perfect.
I'll reach out to my contact at Scratch and see if he still can give more insight. He's also going to be at Guardian Summit. Kevin Badeau, that's doing office hours. He's the head of product at Scratch Foundation. So I would even say if you're building an ed tech product, anybody, I would suggest that you actually let me
So
know
that'll
that he would be
be,
somebody you're interested in connecting with. He
you
oversaw,
put 7
if
minutes,
I
or you
worked
want
with
to
him,
do, what time do you want to
the
start?
reconfiguration of the back-end
So we start the
engineering
event
for the whole
7, I guess,
platform.
and
That
we're
was
doing setup
a
at 6.
mingled
Okay.
disaster because it wasn't designed to house 500 million accounts. It was designed originally to house about
6
5 to 10
p.m. to
million
1
accounts.
a.m.
And so he has also led our product, just like the product discovery, to develop an earned revenue strategy for them at that time too. So Kevin Badeau is his name, but Ege, I will ask him that question, mention your name in case he wants to reach out, and then at Guardian Summit I can do a direct introduction, but I think he'd be good for you to talk with him at office hours.
Okay, thank you so much. And I
Because there's no grant for Lego, there's no open call. You have to get on their radar. Like somebody has to know you, somebody has to do something with you, and so it's also not easy. Like they're not throwing money out like that, but I will say specifically for your venture,
Just let me know that you got the
like
invoice,
that is
and
like
then
super niche. That
keep me
actually
posted.
maybe a there right for that.
yeah, I can send you a little blurb about it, and maybe we can talk before you send how to frame like our work.
Yeah. So but also like
I'm sorry, can I interrupt?
Kwame.
I'm cognizant of time.
Yes.
And Dr. Crowley is coming at the top of the hour.
Sounds
We're
good.
actually good on time for what we have to do next.
Do we have to do a break? Or
No.
are we only doing one break through 3 hours?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah, you won't need to send me much. It's more so, I think after you have the conversation with him, Kevin would be the person, because he would be the one that, if he can, make a direct connection. You're welcome. All right. So before we left on break, we left with this question to think about. What are the goals and categories? You'll need to think about the categories. We talked about those kind of all five. The fifth one, strategy, we didn't really get into, but that is also what is the overall strategy? Some of you have been doing a lot of work, even generating funding, getting grants, hiring people, and you have an outdated strategy. Or your strategy is something that you put together that when you hold it up to the goals you have for fundraising, the opportunities that you have coming your way, it actually is too small, it is too limited, or it really is not inclusive of what you are verbally sharing when you're talking and pitching. And so there's a lot of work that you may need to do for your strategy. Also potentially work that you need to do to develop your board. I've talked with a few of you that have talked about your board development as of late, and it's really exciting the things that you're even wanting to do or have done to grow your boards, to help your boards better be supportive of you, for your boards to even understand what they were brought on for. So maybe that's something that you need to also work on. So if I'm going to, I think the best way to kind of think through this next section, I'd rather you have more time in the breakout rooms. I'm first going to put you in the breakout rooms. We're going to be in breakout rooms for about 15 minutes. And in that time, you can talk through them. If you need a minute or a couple minutes when you're in there to just like kind of get your thoughts together and then start the discussion. But really being able to talk through with your partners, what are the goals that you need to prioritize, even thinking about these categories, people, money, leadership, your personal well-being, strategy for your organization, that you need to really put in the forefront in order to build towards a durable, high-impact venture, especially something that can sustain and grow. Just, spoiler alert, you can't say all five. It's just literally, you cannot prioritize all five because you also don't have, most cases, the people, money, the personal wellness plan, and the strategy to execute all five in those areas at this time, to be very honest. So even for us with our own strategic planning, originally we had like 5 outcomes, and then everyone's like, actually no, we have to scope it down. So that's even a challenge for Camelback with resources. Like we had to figure out what to prioritize. I think now we have 3 priorities, and that's it for the next 3 years. So we will come back at about 47 after the hour. I'll pull everyone back in together. But I want to make sure that you have more time in the breakout rooms to talk through this, and then we will debrief, and we should be able to take about a 7-minute break before Dr. Callie comes in.
I don't really think I paid too much attention in that one. I don't know, I was moving around a bit that day.
All right, see you soon. I'll send
She says that she's decided she wants to rent out the space for probably a 90-minute session for herself, teaching. She's a lactician, and then she also wants to do a course, an 8-hour course on I guess the Saturdays. I mean, the best time for us to do
8 hour?
like people would actually get credits for attending that class, and she would be bringing in a proctor or a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So I just let her know everything's going on. I told her it's $175 per hour.
It's $250 an hour on the weekends, but that would be a different.
I told her that we have to know what's going on. There's communication and conversation that can be had.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't tell her specifically it would be on Saturday.
Oh, they said she wanted to do an 8-hour on Saturday.
Huh?
I thought you said she wanted to do an 8-hour thing on Saturday.
She said she wants to do an 8-hour class. I never told her that would only be available on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
So we never finalized.
What up, bro?
Yeah, what's up, man? What's up? You in New Orleans, right?
Say that again.
You in New Orleans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, what's our task for this session?
It's just for the average job, man. Let me see. I took a screenshot right quick. I'll throw it in the chat. Oh, it doesn't let me put it in the chat. But essentially, it says, what need to prioritize in the next 12 months as you work to building a durable, high impact venture that can sustain and grow um, over time? Sustain and grow revenue, impact, influence customers, etc. over time.
First and foremost, I need to find my phone charger. That's my first step. Anybody want to go first?
I feel like you're always prepared.
What do you say?
Like Anwar's always prepared. Like I read, like amazed us in Maha, so I'm excited to hear what he has to say.
I'm not prepared with this one, but I can take a shot though. It's all good. I think the biggest one for me, because it says focus on the categories out of people, money, leadership, personal, and strategy. I would say for me it's people. That's the biggest one that I'm gonna focus on right now is people. Right now I got 2 pilots going. One with a healthcare plan, and then one with actually with driving one of the previous cohorts with Kwame Terra. And the biggest thing is understanding all the requirements. Well, I already understand the requirements, but I'm learning through what the workflows would be through each of those pilots, and then staff accordingly for those. So I plan to onboard 20 workers over the next couple of months, next 2 months. So just kind of ironing out the exact workflow for them, the pay structure, how to measure them for success, how to hold them accountable, how to support them to be successful, etc. So that's my main for the next 12 months is staffing my people. Trying to see what else.
20
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Then the next. I'm sorry.
20 people is a lot. That's so exciting.
Yeah, it's a lot, man. It's a lot. So I actually had a one-on-one with Paige, and cause she has about 30,000 or so, 40,000 or so users, students on her platform, and I'm recruiting college students. So I was getting like tips and tricks of how she expanded across the nation at various different colleges. So yeah, it is super exciting. I got about 120 or so in my pipeline, but onboarding officially 20 though, real soon. So yeah, it is definitely exciting. It's kind of like it's like anxious. It's like you're finna bring on a ton of people, but then it's like okay, I gotta make sure I can manage them, lead them appropriately, hold them accountable, track them. Thinking about like liability in terms of HIPAA. They're having access to certain patient information. Just thinking about all that stuff is like kind of gets overwhelming for sure. But it's exciting though for sure. What about y'all? What y'all got?
I think for me, it's personal and they said two, so I think for me it's probably personal and people. Like I think personally, um, I'm in residency, so I work 80 hours a week, and I'm also doing Nunchi in addition to that. And I think my work just feels like a lot because it's always left in death. And he also feels like left in death because it's a business and startup. So I'm just trying to take better care of myself and to Lauren as a founder that at this moment I just can't grow it the way that most people are growing their startup, and it's okay. So just accepting non-accelerated growth, which I haven't really done. Like that's one thing that SK told me to do. She was like, "Oh, like Andrew, like you never failed. Like you like got to Harvard twice. Like you just got whatever scholarship you did. Like you always got what you wanted. You like never really stopped." And then for Nunchi, I'm just like learning how to like stop, which is like kind of a bummer. And at the same time, she was like, "You wanted to create this for yourself first." And the second part for me, I guess this might be related, is I'm still trying to figure out how to hire two people. Um, both of my hires fell through, and I think part of it is I also realized it's like S- SK was like, "Oh, like you can't expect them to be as efficient as you are, Andrew." And I was just like they just thought the pressure was too high. So maybe it's also the fit too. Um, so just trying to find the right people and the right hires, I think, is really tough. And I think we're like primarily we have like 300 volunteers, and that's how like we do most of the work. So I think some of the moving from volunteer base to like a paid role has also been interesting culturally for us.
Nice.
Yeah.
So if any tips on personal well-being, I mean, I really should know this as a psychiatrist and a therapist, and at the same time, I don't take care of myself that well. Um, yeah, or about hiring. I didn't realize how difficult it is.
Yeah, the session last week was solid on hiring. Question though, you said you were a therapist and psychologist, but then you said a patient was coding earlier though. What was happening? Is everything good now?
Yeah, I mean, it happens. Like, it's like every day there's like, for us, it's mostly code gray, like when it's agitation, aggression, or self-harm. So it just happens every day.
Okay. Okay.
Just sedate them. That's fine.
Yeah. I think it's interesting perspective though that you brought up. It's like, hey, throughout your life, you just always succeeded at the first try, but now this entrepreneur journey is like you starting to hit some roadblocks. Um, I think um, the advice I can give you is like just growing up with adversity just every single day. I think that's like my secret weapon. I be telling people is like because I went through so much adversity throughout every stage of my life and everything that I've done. Just given the background of growing up and where I came up from, it's like you're prepared for anything. So it's like I would look at it as like, oh man, I'm hitting these roadblocks, but it just prepares you for everything. It's just like when now as you go through different phases of the company or anything that you strive for, you're able to just take what comes as it comes and figure it out along the way and not let it cripple you. You know, because some people like the first time that they hit adversity or any type of challenge, it just that crumbles them, and they don't know how to bounce back. So I would look at it as like a shining armor essentially. Um,
I think what SK was saying is more like obviously I think I also grew up in poverty and came here as like in the foster system, so I think I've been through a lot too. I think what she was saying more is just like stop fighting and just leave the challenge. Choose not to fight.
yeah,
And
now that's
just
good.
don't even try to learn, just leave.
Yeah,
Not even try to be the adversity. Because I think that was the mentality I had too. It was just like, oh well, this is another learning challenge. And she was just like, that's too much. Just be yourself.
mm, no, that's good. That's a good point. That's a great point actually. That's a great point. And then it's just like in terms of like comparing yourself to the acceleration of growth from different people, definitely don't do that, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
It's hard to like fall into that trap. Like we're around like a lot of getting accepted in the accelerators. You quickly learn like you the cream of the crop. So you around a lot of top performers, and everybody is accelerating at different speeds, but you got to consider your industry. You got to consider all these different variables of
Yeah.
like growth potential of your business. So I definitely wouldn't get discouraged by someone else's success in yours. Like just stay course to yours. You know, set your goal and are you achieving your goal and measure it against yourself versus like your peers. Essentially, like, use that as encouragement, but not discouraged if they going faster. Essentially, that's my mindset around it.
Yeah, and I'll echo that because I've done now probably like 12 programs over the past 3 years. And, I've been at a different stage in my company's journey in each one. First time I was there, I mean, there was people who, you know, had already been making $1 million a year in their business. And like that's an uncomfortable place to be in when you don't even have your product out yet. And like it definitely was like, I don't know if inspiring is the right word, but when you get around other people who are already on a certain level, like you just kind of like posture up. You start to change a little bit, and so it definitely postured me in a sense. Where it's like, okay, well, this is possible. How do I set big enough goals to where I expand by just having to be in the certain rooms to have that end result? And at that time we hadn't raised any money. Now we raised over $500,000. This is our first time doing it. I'm like, oh, well, it just you got to be able to see it from somebody first, and then I think just start taking focus on the fundamental actions that lead to the results, and don't really worry about the outcome because it ultimately comes down to a numbers game. Who can do the most work? And I say right now, more than anything, is like how do you design your product to where it's talking to more people who are dealing with the problem you're trying to solve, and then testing more solutions against that problem than anybody else, because that's really the fundamentals of it all.
Art and like activism.
You should actually probably ask that so long as I can get to know your question. Like, what is like in 3 words, 5 words? Like, what's your algorithm?
Yeah, our new merch got in today, so I'm like,
oh, congratulations!
Everything. Yeah, it's so cute.
We're still waiting to at least get a T-shirt, a beanie, something. But
Wait, I didn't know that. Ebony got a whole jacket.
Wait a minute, she got a program team.
She got a whole varsity jacket. She literally told me she wanted it.
Ebony got a
Camelback Ventures varsity jacket?
No.
Oh,
no.
Right there.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, no, I would pay for that. I would just at least give me a T-shirt, but like I would pay if it's something else. I would definitely yes. Real quick, I had a former colleague. She's one of my favorite colleagues ever. But she's a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman in her late 50s, and we were doing work with Hidden Genius Project in Oakland that supports young black men in gaining coding experience and education. And they gave us these hoodies, and on the back it is in the continent of Africa in Pan-African colors. And she was like, I can't wear this, can I? I was like, I don't really think you should. But it was such like a great hoodie, like thick, good fabric, beautiful design. And she's like, she was so excited, and she was like, I'm just going to fold it up and put it in my closet. I said, you can wear it at home. I just probably would not go through the airport.
I don't know. If I saw a white person wearing those clothes, I'd be like, you down? What's up?
Yeah. I think her being from Sarasota, Florida, and like she has it's a lot of it.
I'd be scared of her neighbor. I'd like, actually, you're fine with me. Your neighbors, though.
Yeah, she would be the type to literally wear it at the local Winn-Dixie and cause a riot and like, damn right I did it. Like, that's her, but I love her dearly. All right. So I just want to debrief really quickly. I know it's also compressed time in the breakout rooms, but really the goal was to give you some time to start to even voice over what are the things that you need to prioritize in the next 12 months, especially when you're thinking of the concept of what got me here is not going to get me there. What do you need to prioritize to get you there? Whatever there is that you've identified, what does that look like for you? Lauren or Aisha, do you want to jump in and kick us off?
Sure. I mean, mine was just a lot around money. But even kind of to what you were saying earlier, we've got this big capital campaign that we're going to be launching, and it's not just. I mean, I even think conversations with you and some others has really helped to frame it as like it's not just it doesn't, raising money for a building out the gate doesn't feel sexy, and especially when half of it is for an elevator and sprinklers. But being able to think about it as, we're bringing this fundamentally transformational opportunity to our community, and that cannot happen without having a space that promotes that. And so I think I have continually grown not only in my confidence to be able to ask for money as I understand and believe what it's going to take, but also being more strategic other than we need to raise $8 million, but being able to be more strategic on that messaging. And then even a big part of the strategy that I'm learning is specific literally to high net worth individuals. And I think for a long time I lumped them all into one piece, but I'm actually learning how each individual, high net worth individual, you treat as you're prospecting like a foundation. And so we've just been building out tracking on that.
Absolutely. I think we want to talk more about that, even just to our alumni in general, just to even what are we noticing even as we're expanding our engagement with high net worth individuals. And some of them even that are saying they got the money in the bank. They are also not going to ever give us a lot of money. But they will literally host, we have someone there who's like, I'm not going to give you any money, but I will actually host a dinner for you at my multi-million-dollar Brooklyn brownstone and help to invite the right people. And we're like, oh, actually that's so much more than you could have done than cutting a $50,000 check. So what does the differentiated asks look like from high net worth individuals that always does not necessarily have to be money? That dinner could possibly fundraise so much more than he ever would have given us, that we would have thought about. So anyone else?
I share with my group that I'm really big on strategy for the next couple of months, especially the policy behind EdTech and what has to happen to play the game, which is EdTech and politics and bureaucracy, and just doing it a little bit more strategic. Yeah, I'll leave it like that.
I love that. Anyone else, as you're continuing to think about this concept of what do I need to do to get me there from here? Final thoughts and things that are lingering with you.
I'll go. I didn't get a chance to share in my group. We ran an experiment over the past 4 months. Just for more context for everybody, our goal was to get to 1,000 qualified leader registered users and get 200 paying members from that on our app. We got to 543 registered users, so 543 leads, and about 50 paying members. So, this is probably my 4th or 5th time setting goals for growth in my startup journey so far, and I'm not bothered by this outcome really at all. I think we have a good amount of insight from a variety of factors. One, we know how much we spent to get these users and get these members. We know some insights around the efficiency of that approach and what we might need to modify based on that, and feel confident that I can go raise a little bit of money to get to our next milestone of 1,000 paying members and 5,000 registered users. So this was my first time doing a real test with real money and getting an outcome, even though it wasn't our official goal, or we didn't reach our official goal. Part of the goal was just to get some data, and so I think we got that, and feel confident to be able to go raise some money over the next 4 months to put into growth for the next 12. So.
That's great. I love that framing also, and I think even that framing, to me is very inspirational, and also has me thinking again about different framing that we have on our team for things. But I would imagine also if I were a funder hearing that, I would not see that as, to your point, what I heard was you have traction. What I heard is you actually have paid customers. What I heard is you now have a plan for how to revise and continue to grow. I've heard the big points in that seen as something that, oh, we just didn't get to 200, but you got somewhere. And so, and actually you started, you did something, and you actually were even designing an experimental process, which is also something a lot of folks actually are too hesitant to even begin to do. So
I could talk for my group.
yeah.
So I think for a lot of us, it was a mixture of board management or onboarding new board members and thinking who are prospective board members who would be good alignment for the next stage of our growth. And it was pretty interesting, like how we are all on that phase. In addition to time management or new journeys, we're thinking about what personnel to bring on board depending on what the following year is going to look like for us schedule-wise. In addition to, I think maybe this only applies for two of us, like just thinking of what are different approaches to earn revenue that we can use in the nonprofit sector that's not, like that's still in alignment with our goals, but not exactly what we're our main focus until we get until we continue to grow. Yeah.
Fantastic. Also, Scott is fantastic with board development. So also, please, like anybody, he's really, really good at that. If that's something you're looking at. So let's take a real quick stretch break, just 4 minutes, and then we're actually going to start at the top of the hour with Dr. Callie. And I'm really excited for the next section. Please continue to work on your goals, to expand your goals. Scott Garrell, Garrell. Yes, 1 R, yes. But yeah, I'll see you at the top of the hour. So please get up, stand up, move around a little bit, and we'll come back together.
Hey, Callie.
Hello.
How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm about to put these headphones in. You still hear me?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier for me with these headphones. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Good.
All right, let me just put these slides up. Can you see them?
Yes, and thank you for sharing them. That way I can see everyone.
Yep.
Where's my monitor?
Hey, Kwame, I just sent you a message, boss.
Hey, Callie, good to see you.
Great to see you too. Thanks for letting me come and share with everyone.
Of course. In our break, it was funny because we were talking about, we all of us forgot that Monday was Memorial Day, or the holiday when people still celebrated it. And then I think also why I wasn't thinking of it is because the weather where we live is going to be so bad for the weekend. Into, I think Tuesday is thunderstorms here. So I think that's also why it wasn't like, oh, this is a break and this is something we can do. So
Exactly. It's not like the regular cookout
yes,
grill weather.
not at all.
Yeah. For sure.
I mean, it's gonna rain all weekend.
Yeah. May we got out of here, y'all. It went by fast.
So fast, and I'm nervous. June is already going to go by fast because I feel like there's so many like plans already for June. So yeah. All right, so now I'll pass it to you to introduce Dr. Callie.
Well, Dr. Kelly needs no introduction because she was our facilitator. Sorry, I feel like it's so rare that I get the opportunity to actually say that sentence, for real. For those of you who participated in our Measuring Your Impact session a few weeks ago, Dr. Callie was our facilitator. So like as I mentioned at the top, or at the beginning of today's session, that the session that Dr. Callie facilitated before was all about like how do you collect the data, right? Like how to ensure, like to let you know that you're heading in the direction you want to go head towards. This session is really focused on like how do you communicate the impact that you like from the data you collect. So with that said, Dr. Callie, I will hand it over to you. I will be your slide person. You just let me know what to go next.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Good to see everyone again and be in community. And yeah, so today we're all talking about communicating your impact specifically to funders and investors, so the folks to help you continue doing the great work that you're doing. So we can go on to our next slide. We can go, y'all know me, so we can go past that slide. We've already got a chance to work together. So again, our goal for our time together is to build our knowledge, skills, and tools for sharing key impact data with funders and investors. So continue. So just a quick refresher from our time together the first time we were able to connect, what is impact? So impact is really how we know that we're making a lasting change, that there's a lasting change that our work creates. So it's not just the activities that we do, but it's also what changes because of what we do. So how is the world a better place? How are communities better? How is society better because you are doing the work that you are doing? So we can move forward. So again, we're focused right now on how do we communicate our impact. So there's a couple of things I want to share before we continue. So I'm going to kind of give kind of a background. We're going to talk about different examples, and then I want to hear from you too. So definitely feel free to come off a mute or drop in the chat. This is not meant to be me just like reading off the slides to you, but I definitely want to provide some framing before hearing from you. So in terms of crafting your impact narrative, there are a few things that are really important for us to consider. One, we want to communicate effectively to our funders and stakeholders to inspire them to action. We want them to hear our narrative and reach for their checkbook or reach for or contact who is in charge of the funds, right? And so a couple of terms for us to be mindful of. One is data and metrics. So this is how we are going to quantify your impact into very clear and relevant measurements. So we know that you're doing great work, but what does great work really look like? How do we quantify that? We do that through very concrete examples and stories. This is where we are bringing, your impact to life. That's where we're telling the very compelling narratives that's going to resonate with your audience. And one way to do that is through using visual aids. So this slide is not a great example of that, right? Because I have a lot of text on here. But using infographics and videos, and we'll show you some examples in some slides to come that can really draw your audience in, connect with them, and again, enhance the storytelling, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to move people and move your audience and your stakeholders. So there's lots of different ways of crafting your impact narrative, but for the purpose of our time together, we're going to really drill down and focus on four or five main ways to think about it. So we're going to talk about impact reports, newsletters, or they're also called investor memos, pitch decks, and websites. So those are going to be the main tools that we are going to talk about in the slides to come. So we can go to our next slide here. All right, so I'm going to share some examples, but again, I'd love to hear from you too. But let's start with our first, which is impact reports. So what you see here on the slide is an example of Camelback's 10-year impact report that was released last year. An impact report is a comprehensive document that really showcases your impact that you've achieved as well as articulates your future vision. And so some things to keep in mind when we're creating impact reports is that they're just a snapshot, right? It's a snapshot in time of what you've achieved to that moment and then what you plan to do moving forward. There's a couple of key elements when you're crafting your impact report. You want to highlight your wins. You want to include some testimonials from either participants or partners. And then it's also important to have quantitative data too, to be able to quantify, your reach as well. So an example I have here on the slide is about Camelback since 2015, and this is actually dated. We have new data because you all are the most recent cohort of fellows, but at the time it was 181 entrepreneurs. So thank you. I see we have an example here in the chat, but I also want to hear from you all. Have you either created an impact report before or viewed an impact report from a different organization? And what has been your experience with that? So I'm going to pause from talking at you and want to talk with you. Would anyone want to come up and mute or drop in the chat? Oh, I see there's a good question in the chat. Oh, I'm sorry. Someone came off of mute. Go ahead first, and then I'll talk about what's in the chat.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to share my experience putting together an impact report for Bear Health in 2024 because it had a really positive impact on just kind of like my mindset at the time. So 2024 going into 2025, we were just we just had a lot of success. We received a large donation from our developer to start the development of our official app. We were operating on our beta app for all of 2024, going into 2025. And at the end of the year, I for some reason felt stuck, and I couldn't plan 2025. I don't know why. I didn't have the energy or the perspective or the address, whatever. Something was missing. So I ended up going on this 1 week solo retreat. I was planning to do that regardless, but while I was there, it was only an hour away at this cabin. While I was there, I started putting together an impact report for the year, and basically went over all of the different challenges that we hosted on our app, and how many steps everybody took, and all of the community activations that we hosted. And after doing that, all of a sudden, I could plan for 20. I had the energy and the perspective and everything I needed to plan for 2025. And I think that what happened on some level is that, especially as founders, we're really never in the present moment. We're always thinking about how we're not where we want to be. And every year, obviously, we pause at the end of the year and think about what's next. But for me, I, on some level, had forgotten or never took time to acknowledge and recognize all that we had already done, because basically what I was doing every year was building from the original foundation, which was just me with an idea. But I'm not just me with an idea anymore, and you can recognize that every year. And so I felt more empowered after reflecting on everything. Oh, well, I'm not starting from zero at all. In fact, I've done all of this already, and I'm carrying all of that into this next year with me. And so anyway, I wanted to share that with people because it definitely helped me a lot.
Thank you so much for sharing that, and that's such a powerful realization that you're not starting from zero. You're starting from that experience and expertise and leveraging that, right? And I think that very tangible example leads me to respond to the question that's in the chat about the differences between an impact report and an annual report. And so they can look very similar, but they answer slightly different questions. And so when I think of an annual report, that's something that you do each year. It reports out on your achievements for that year. But the people who might, it could really be anyone that looks at your annual report. It's not necessarily having the lens for not just what did we do, but why are we worthy of funding again? What has changed because we're in existence? What is an easier way to think about that is with the annual report, what did our organization do this year, period. But with your impact report, you're really focused on not just your activities and what you accomplish, but our society, how is the communities, who is better because of what you're doing. So when you think about, when we had that first conversation about theory of change, when we think about the ultimate impact of your work, that is kind of the focus of your impact report. So it can still be, both of them are reports and you could do them annually, but I think the impact report is more of a cumulative, has more of a cumulative focus as opposed to a year-to-year focus. Does that answer your question in the chat? That was a really good question.
Yeah, actually, I just wanted to follow up. I did have two prospective meetings with funders, and they pretty much asked me what's the latest in terms of impact this year. So if I had an impact report, it definitely could have helped. But I ended up just doing like, here's a summary slash pitch deck of the latest this year based on the numbers that I had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and having something is better than nothing, right? So I mean, it's not that I think it's great that you were able to have that pitch deck and which we're going to talk about in a little bit, and have those other materials. But you're exactly right. Having that impact report where that focus is really, you're really covering your outcomes and the long-term difference that you're making. That can be really helpful to communicate to your funders in particular. Whereas an annual report, like the general public might read your annual report, but your funder are going to be more concerned with your impact. So thank you for that question. Any other questions before we continue? All right, that was the first one, impact report. So we can continue on. Another output or way to craft your tool to craft your impact narrative are newsletters and investor memos. And so these are more regular or periodic updates that you're providing your stakeholders or your community members, where you're showcasing your progress and your success stories. And so as we're thinking about newsletters and investor memos, this is where you're kind of in continuous conversation with your stakeholders. We do have a couple of examples that we'll drop in the chat for you, but as you're thinking about crafting a newsletter or crafting an investor memo, this is where you're building that ongoing relationship, right, with your supporters. And we know that that is essential. Having a relationship with the funders and your supporters is essential as you can continue on. Some elements to keep in mind. You definitely want to highlight your recent wins, also challenges that you've overcome, any upcoming initiatives, and you can also spotlight specific programs or initiatives or items such as what you see here on the slide. So there's a teacher testimony where it's really spotlighting how teachers were making a difference. So this is from an alumni where they were spotlighting how teachers were making a difference in their work. Do any of you have a newsletter or have been a part of a newsletter? So maybe you're getting those in your inbox. I know you probably get Camelback newsletter, but either have a newsletter or, I see somebody thank you. I see some notes in the chat. Would anyone like to come off of mute and talk about what that process is like of sharing your impact in that way?
I know. They were in there.
Yeah, I can talk. I just started actually, and I sent my first newsletter in April. And we've been thinking about creating these newsletters. We have, our product is in the actual world. It's been used by 3,000 children around the world. And the hardest thing was to create it like in a way that captures what we already done and what's the most important key things we achieved in the last days. And
What up, Team Money?
I don't know what I can say other than that. So with the investors,
doing our job, man.
we started an investor CRM and started sending that to all of our investors and the people who are interested in investing.
Yeah, this is our last week.
And we had a mixture of groups where some of them were very involved with us and they know what was going on, and some of them didn't know what was going on for a long time. So we
No, it's turmeric.
build up a newsletter together with Sevam, something that's short enough and like gives the idea and a sense what's going on in the company, what's the impact we've been creating in the last months, and the ask and how we see where we will grow in the next couple of months and what's our ask from those people around us.
I love that. Oh, someone's coming up and mute. What were you going to share?
Sure. I recently started a newsletter as well. Not for the impact report, but more so updates and thought, trying to position with thought leadership and giving free nuggets out there for the in the space and just to get some engagement and keep the platform on the inbox for the people who I'm connected with. So I kind of use it as that, but I do have a main newsletter coming up with updates.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, I think that's a great strategy to, as you mentioned, staying top of mind with your community. And if you do have a newsletter, maybe it doesn't have an impact focus, but you can include some impact data occasionally as you receive it, right? So if you already have a newsletter, including some of your recent wins, including, as you mentioned, some asks that you might have. And someone mentioned that they have an investor memo. Would you like to share, Clement? Not to put you on the spot, but no one's talked about investor updates yet, so.
No, certainly I can share. Like, we had the Camelback session, and I know they had some examples from other people, so I was able to use that. And I've done investor updates in the past, but haven't really been consistent with it. So, Camelback and just, thinking about fundraising, that had me to do one last week. So I sent it out last week and hope to try to do it monthly. That's the goal.
Love it, love it.
I just know, Callie, that as someone who receives investor updates from a fam, like, they are so important because essentially, like, if I'm lucky, I get to talk to each and every one of my folks in my portfolio once a quarter. That's if I'm lucky. But oftentimes, like, things are moving faster for y'all. And if I get an investor memo every month, I'm like, oh, I see what you, like, because every investor memo, make sure to has to have an ask. Like, yes, share what's going well, but, like, always have an ask. And I always scroll, like, I'll read really quickly, and then I'll look at the ask real fast, and, like, how can I help? Even though I can't talk to you, like, in this very moment, I can see if I can help you. And so, like, please keep in mind that, like, oftentimes those investor memos are shared and forwarded to other folks, and that is what I think their true power is.
Thank you for sharing that. So it's a way to stay top of mind and tip of tongue of folks. That they're like, oh, I remember, wait, so-and-so, I just heard from them, and they can go and find it. So absolutely. Let's see, did I get everything in the chat? Oh, thank you for sharing these examples in the chat as well. Yeah. Awesome. Well, we will continue on because I do have one more slide, and then I want to do an activity before we close. So that was our second and third kind of tools. And the last two tools that I wanted to talk about are pitch decks and websites. And I put them on the same slide. They are slightly different, but they are similar in some ways as well. So let's start with, on the left side, the pitch decks. And I know you all are familiar with them, but let me just give you an overview here. Pitch decks, they are, focused presentations that really highlight your impact story, and again, specifically with the focus of investors and funders. So we want to communicate, what is your current impact and also your future impact potential. And this is really important because we don't just want to highlight what we've already done, but we want to demonstrate that with additional funds, what we could do. We could continue to have this great impact or have a larger impact, reach more people, etc., with additional funds, right? So some key elements as you are building out your pitch deck. You want to make sure that you have your impact metrics. And so this is kind of, review for you, of course, from our first time to together. But what are the key metrics? What have you achieved so far, right? Um, and also testimonials. So it's not all quantitative data. Is also important that to have some quotes, have something that might resonate a little more deeper on the emotional side, so you can have both perspectives. And visual data is really great here as well. So the more that you're able to have visual aids to really bring your story to life. And we have provided some examples here in the chat of some of an impact focused pitch deck. Let me pause. Experience with pitch decks. I know that you all have talked about pitch decks before, but would anyone like to share either a win or like I'm kind of working on my pitch deck? Either option.
I can share a win. I did a cold pitch deck send to the CEO of Ben and Jerry's, and they reached out to us, and we got a partnership with them, and yeah, it worked out. Yeah, just did a cold send to the CEO of Ben and Jerry's. It actually worked out, which yeah. And I'm not really a cold pitch deck sender, but
evidence would tell me otherwise.
Yes.
That's amazing. Exactly.
Yeah.
Ben or Jerry, though.
Yeah. So it ended up working out, and we ended up partnering with them, and now they're excited to support, and we'll have Ben and Jerry trucks at our conference. So with free ice cream for participants. So love that.
I love that. So I think there's a couple of lessons here. One, send it cold, send it. But congratulations, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Oh, November 15th, y'all come out. We're gonna have a cool keynote. So yeah, that's the date.
Drop it in the chat. You said November 15th?
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat, and I'll also send y'all emails. So y'all have to unsubscribe to get rid of me.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, that's one example, and we appreciate that you sharing that. The other tool here on the slide, which you may be like, okay, Callie, websites, but yes, website. Websites are really a centralized hub that can make your impact accessible to a wide variety of audiences. So far we've talked about, very tools that are very much tailored to your investors and funders. Whereas your website, anyone can access it in addition to funders, beneficiaries, partners, etc. And so we want to make sure that on your website you have key impact metrics, testimonials, but also a call to action. So how do you want, if I'm a funder or an investor and I take a look at your website, what do I do? Like, how are you moving me to action? How are you inspiring me and also giving me a clear action item? So whereas in the investor memo, you want to make sure you have a clear ask, on your website, you also want to have a clear action. And so a couple things that make websites very unique. Again, they are public, they are always available, multiple audiences in one place. And how do you create a call to action? And so I see we have that example in the chat. And one thing that I love about that example is that you see where it says download PDF. If you click on the link, it says, download PDF, but right underneath it, it says, about us. And if you believe in the work we're doing, support our work here. That is a clear call to action for if you are a funder or someone to be able to move them to action. So let me pause. Any experience? Do you all have websites? Do you have call to action for individuals on your website? Would love to hear your feedback on this as a tool.
I don't have the best one, mainly because it was very programming focused. So I guess I have the opposite experience where I was told by prospective funders that it was very difficult for us to figure out what you do based on your website. But it wasn't until they went to our conference where they're like, oh, okay, we understand why this work is important. So I did connect with Camelback Expert Bench, Amanda, and I got really good feedback on how to improve the website. So in the meantime, I did some quick fixes
but we definitely need to include like a whole impact metrics thing.
Well, that's good feedback though. Like getting that information from vendors are like, hey, we need a little more clarity here. That's good feedback.
One of the things that I did on my website recently was to create like a live demo with sort of like, I had AI create especially for this individual giving product that we're doing, like I had it create sort of mock profiles of real people, and this is what it would look like if you had your individual giving connections kind of loaded up in Kindora, and you could search them, and this is the kind of intelligence we pass along, and then there's like a call to action in terms of like, you know, if you're interested in you know, reaching out and exploring the product, like we have a little on, you know, a forum, and we had 40 people reach out in the last week about it, which was like really encouraging to see people like engage in the website, go to the demo, and then reach out. And it was kind of funny too, because like AI created the people profiles, and it had this white woman, and I was talking with my customers, and he was chuckling because he was like, it says she went to Spelman and graduated in '86, and I was like, oh yeah, that's AI just you know, putting people together. I left it on there for now because I just thought it was kind of funny, but yeah, so people getting a laugh out of it too.
Nice. Well, that means that they're engaging deeply if they caught
right,
that.
If they all the way in these fake profiles looking and be like, oh,
yeah.
this woman graduated from Spelman in '86.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. And that is really encouraging. 40 people already. That's awesome. See something in the chat.
We also have a website, and because we do sales and like fundraising, and website helps on both sides. But what really works on the website, we started putting some case studies and like some of the short stories from classrooms, how our tool is implemented and what was the outcomes from those sessions. And I started seeing a lot of effect from just those pages in our website. Just wanted to share.
Thank you for sharing. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for all these real examples. I think this is so helpful to hear, and I see in the chat as well. Awesome. Well, I think we can go to our next slide, which is, are there any questions? I did have one final, I think we might have time to do our final slide, but before we get there, are there any questions, anything that I went over too quickly or you'd like me to expound on, or anything like that before we move forward?
Actually, I have a newsletter one, because I've been told from different coaches that the newsletter, like before it was just programming updates and what we're up to. Lately we shifted to focusing on this is how we can help our community who subscribes to our newsletter to better understand the problem, in addition to updates. But I was told this is probably the better approach when we actually do an ask. Instead of doing a donation ask throughout the entire year, focus on Q3 donation ask after you build a relationship with those individuals in the first 2 quarters. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think relationships are super important when it comes to fundraising and when it comes to communicating your impact. So I can see how the coach could have the perspective that if you are asking throughout the year that there's no what's the word I'm looking for? If you're asking throughout the year, it's hard to see a change necessarily, as opposed to like if you are building that relationship throughout the year and then you make the ask. Well, I have heard from this person. I've gotten updates every month or every quarter. I know what they're doing. Now, once you make the ask, it's a warm ask as opposed to as it being so cold. So I would appreciate that. I don't have data to support that because I'm a researcher, so I don't have like a statistic to tell you this is what the change will be. But that, to me, the logic makes sense that you build a relationship and then you make the ask. I don't know, Swan, if you have more to share there.
I would include an ask in every. It doesn't have to be about money, but include an ask in every single newsletter, just so they know it's always there. Because and make it easy. Sometimes it's like, oh, I just want to be connected to so and so. Cool. I can do that. That's easy. Because then when you get to like let the folks get into the habit of looking for that ask, so that when you do have the big one, they don't miss it.
The issue that we're
That's
having
good
is that
feedback.
people don't, I just
Thank
don't
you.
think that people realize that they have to download the app to attend, or that
Any other
they have
questions?
like an app to attend any meetup in the space and
If
link it on
not, we're
site
at
with their
3:30, so I think we have time to do this
check-in
last. All right, so
faced with friction
so I'm
when
going to
they have to
explain this,
download
and
the
then we're
app
going
to
to
select.
go into breakouts and give you a chance
Now,
to
also with that
talk with,
elevator, one of the
a
advantages is
few
people
a few
had to
folks
download it
here
before they
about
can
your idea.
basically,
So picture this. It's
so
day 2
demographics
of
are
the Guardian Summit, and you're
leading
headed to your
to
next
restrictions,
session
and so I want to
when a
focus on
funder or
like the
an
first
investor
3
that you've been
sentences,
hoping to meet steps into
friction
the
with the
elevator
student, but
beside you.
also
You have 2
I
minutes
don't
to
want it to
sit
seem
between
so like
floors.
forceful and
The small
unnatural.
talk lands, their interest is piqued, and just before the doors open, they turn to you and ask, so
Forceful
tell
or
me about your
unnatural.
impact. So now, we're going to put you in breakout rooms, and we're going to have about, let's say about 5 minutes in the breakout. Does that feel good, Salam? 5 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, so basically you're going to be in pairs, except for you, Kai. You're going to be in a group of 3, but because you said you may not be able to participate, but like make sure both of y'all do the thing.
Yeah. So it's just 2 minutes. What if they ask you that question? What would you say?
This
You
isn't
don't have to
how
like
it
prep anything. It's
was
really like off
before
the top,
previously.
and then we'll come back.
This
Make
isn't
sense
how
to
it was
everyone?
before previously. It was
Rooms
the
are open.
access note was at the bottom. I don't want people to say, or I don't want it to say to attend all meetups and experiences at Bear Connect. I want it to just be specific for linear years.
Yo, you wanna you wanna go?
Yeah, so what are we doing? Picture this. It's day 2 of Guardian Summit. You're heading into your next session when a funder investor you've been hoping to meet steps into the elevator beside you. You have 2 minutes. Oh. And so you're saying, so tell me about your impact.
Yeah, tell me about your impact. Here, I'll let you go first.
And how do I even answer this question these days? So, yeah, we're building the Black Electronic Health Record, which is a real-time database of all Black health data in the world that we use to inform and drive community health solutions in our communities. We currently collect our data through a health and wellness app that gives people a health score, kind of like a credit score for your health, and it changes in real time as they change. So if they go on a run one day, the score goes up. If they get 2 or 3 hours of sleep one night, the score goes down. And then based on those changes, we make recommendations for how you can improve, as well as connect people to healthcare providers, resources, and experiences to help elevate that score. Since our launch, we started off with an average health score among all of our users of about 513, and we've gotten that score up to 588 over the past several months. And so it's really encouraging for us to see that, and basically every month, based on the trends, we make modifications, launch different challenges, host different experiences to meet those needs. And yeah, people are engaging with the model pretty consistently.
Nice. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Say, hey man, how would I kick it off? How would I kick it off?
Right.
Hey, so I'm building Imperium Care. Ultimately, I'm helping expand access to in-home support to older adults with people with disabilities, especially families who need reliable care but often struggle to find it. Impact for us is twofold. So we're helping people find more safe, independent. We're helping people stay safe and be more independent at home, and then we create a unique opportunity for college students, pre-healthcare students, to earn paid care hours towards their graduate studies. Um, by taking care of our elders, they earn clinical hours towards their graduate studies. Right now, we are proving out our model. We're going through 2 pilots and partnerships that we currently have. in Central California. It's a 456,000 member healthcare plan. Um, 5-year contract with them, and we're piloting out our solution with them. We're partnering with over 15 universities here in California, engaging about 120 students so far, and um, right now proving out the model, pairing them up, extract the, after each engagement, we have a survey with the students rate the families, and the families rate the caregivers. So that way we're able to measure what the success is, if there's any gaps or any opportunities for improvement, we able to communicate that and address that real time, and provide updates to the healthcare plan based on their care plans for the members and the individuals. So that's currently what we at. I could clean it up though. But
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I was gonna say, there was a point in there which, like, I wanted to ask a clarifying question or qualifying question, which I think is a good, like, reaction to get, right? From somebody that you're in a conversation with. It was related to so you have a 5-year pilot?
So the contract is 5 years, but I'm treating it right now as a pilot. So my contract is a 5-year executed contract, but I'm just treating it as a small pilot right now with the schools pairing them up. So that's a good question, actually. So should I frame it differently?
Yeah. Only reason I say that is because, like, if it's a fully executed 5-year contract, then lean on that. That's way more interesting than a pilot. But, like, my brain did two things. It's like you got a 5-year contract, but it's a pilot. You know. Yeah, I don't think you should call it a pilot. You getting paid?
Yeah. Getting paid.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a pilot.
Okay.
We just got our first contract with a half a million member you said hospital system?
Health plan.
Health plan.
And keep it at that. That's a good point.
Yeah. That's what I would say. Just because, again, ultimately it comes down to traction. And if you got traction, you got traction. And that's and it is real solid traction, not a LOI, not a and it's long term. That's interesting for a startup. 5-year, having a 5-year deal for a startup company. That's interesting. So, yeah, I would definitely lean all the way into that. Because now it's like, okay, well, what's working? I'm curious to know what are you guys doing within that contract right now, so that we can ensure that that contract is made good on, and so that we can get more contracts.
After that, yeah.
You've already solved the first part. You got a contract.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I need to start framing it as a pilot then. I'm treating it as a pilot, but I shouldn't frame it as a pilot.
Yeah, I mean, on some level, you're, especially now with AI, bro, like, everything should be treated like as a pilot. Because we need to be, basically what I've been telling people, right now it's a race to the start. Right? Previously it was like who can endure the longest. Now the AI is the endurance of the approach to building a solution, which is, again, talk to people with a problem, build a solution, test that solution with those people, give feedback, iterate. And AI is going to be doing that on autopilot now. So whoever gets in position first has the best chance. That's why Anthropic and OpenAI have 90% of the AI market.
Yeah.
It's just the products are so good and they're almost on some level the same.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would lean into that because you want to get money right now. You want to get capital. And that contract is a solid use case.
Like, aren't they being like sued for like the poor branding that made kids think they could save illnesses or fix illnesses through like?
Oh my gosh, yes, Brandon, is that where you got it from?
No, no, no. I just want to say that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Of course not. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. We know that was a quick activity, but wanted to pause before we kind of complete our time together. Would anyone like to just reflect on that experience of actually practicing your verbal pitch of your impact to a potential investor or funder? Would anyone like to either drop in the chat or come off of mute and share some final closing reflections of what that process was like?
Yeah, I can share. I was in a room. Oh no, where did he go? Whatever. With Robert, I can't see him on my screen. But anyways, I think something that I've noticed is like, especially if you have like a short period of time, like yes, the quality impact matters, but the numbers and the flashy partnerships are gonna stick and they're gonna remember you and then they're gonna follow up with you afterwards, which is unfortunate, but like also like those are the outcomes that they're gonna remember is like if there's like a specific number. For us, it's like the grade increase that the kids have when they have used our platform. It's like, oh wow, like they've went up 50, like ours is 50% after using our platform for 15 minutes a day. So it's like those things stick a lot better, especially if you have a very short period of time. And it makes them intrigued to want to know more, and that's how they like continue. And they're like, "Hi, like we chatted on the elevator, or whatever it is." So yeah, that's something that I found.
Awesome, thank you for that. You got some love in the chat. I don't know if you saw it, but Robert said you had a great verbal pitch. So kudos to you for that pitch, and we appreciate that insight of how do you pique their interest so they want to know more, so they want to follow up, grab their attention. Absolutely. Yes, that is a very impressive figure. Any other final thoughts before we close? This wasn't meant to be like a busy work activity. Something like this could actually happen, and hopefully it does. And this can give you some framing of how to prep and what to be thinking about for, in just a few weeks at the summit.
I wanted to share a comment, and I may be completely off base, and my intention isn't to offend anybody at all, and so apologies if it does, but there was like a slight sentiment in Aisha's thoughts just now around like it shouldn't be necessarily the case, or I hate that it's the case that the numbers are what gets the funders' attention, but the numbers are what are the best thing that demonstrates the value of what you created. And so I think it's okay. Justin also said something earlier about like why aren't they paying attention when like I need it? But like those who manage to get out even under challenging conditions, who manage to get noticed, like those are people that should be invested in because they're figuring it out despite that. So anyway, I think it's okay that those are kind of the conditions, and I think that we should. Well, we don't really have a choice, but yeah, I think that's okay. Anyway, sorry if that bothered anybody or anything.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Our goal is to thrive in the environment that we're in, right? So I think that you kind of named that. All right, I'm done. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your space for the past 45 minutes. And if you'd like to connect, please do. Shameless plug, thank you. I almost forgot. Please do reach out to me on Expert Bench. We can chat more about all things impact measurement. But thank you so much.
Thanks, Callie. Sorry, Dr. Callie.
Callie is just fine. My mama named me Callie.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye, Callie.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, we're down to the last 16 minutes. Brandon, take us home.
Let's do it. So yeah, I think you can go to the next slide, Salam.
But all right, y'all, we are moving into our final section for today, and I promise I'll try to keep us all on time. But before we close, there's two important things we need from you. One being your post-fellowship survey, and second being your cohort name. So first for the post-survey, if you haven't completed it yet, please just make sure you try to complete it today. Like Salam said before, this is just really important for us. It's not just a compliance or feedback tool, but it's really just your reflections to help us understand what worked, what needs to be strengthened, what we can improve on, to ensure that just the fellowship experience for future founders is just super amazing. And the survey should take probably about an hour, so if you know you haven't done it yet, please either try to carve out time today or join the optional survey completion space tomorrow at 11 a.m. We really just want to make sure that your voices are captured. So yeah, that's the post-fellowship survey. And if we can move on to the next slide, which is the more fun part of the closing part. So every Camelback cohort gets a unique name, and that name always incorporates your cohort number. And for this group, its number is 16. And like I said, it's not really just a cute title, but it's really a name that just really shares your identity as a group, how you move forward in the fellowship to alumnihood, and it's something that just honestly really captures the energy, personality, any inside jokes and spirit of your cohort. So some of the few most recent examples, like cohort 9 was always on time plus 9, cohort 10, pomegranate times grits. But as you can see, there's really no right formula for a cohort name. Some are funny, some are layered, some are about ambition, some are about cohorts 5. So really just kind of the one rule is just to include a reference to 16 in some way. So essentially between now and tomorrow, I just want everyone here to just think of a name that really feels true to your cohort. What's really defined the group, what language, jokes, themes, for example, energy that you think really just encapsulates the energy and the vibe of the cohort. I don't even know, like Sweet 16, 16 seeds, anything. There's no rhyme or reason, but essentially just think of some names. And tomorrow at the beginning of this session, or in the session, just be ready to share your proposed cohort name. Doesn't have to be like, a huge marketing campaign or anything. Just kind of a name, why it fits, and really be ready to kind of build on each other's ideas. And optionally right now, if you feel comfortable and have some sort of thoughts already, if anybody feels comfortable just dropping just one word in the group chat, just for everybody to kind of use as ideation, just feedback and things like that, that'd be great as well. So, next slide. And then to close us out, if we can just please have the daily survey that is, did I send in the chat already? I hope so. I think I did, yes, that I sent in the chat. That would be greatly, greatly appreciated. This naturally should be way quicker than the post-fellowship survey, but naturally every single session your feedback really helps us make just the fellowship stronger, just everything stronger, for example. So like I said, I know I said it a bajillion times, please complete the post-fellowship survey if you haven't already. And honestly, just thank you for your presence today. It's always great to be in community with you all.
And I'm loving these ideas in the chat. Please stay on until you finish your daily survey. And if you want to share more ideas in the chat, they are giving me life, and I am enjoying them.
Also, before everyone hops off, I just want to say bye. Today's my last day at Camelback. I sent out an email about it. And I'm transitioning to a brand new position at another organization called New Majority Capital. It's just been a huge, huge pleasure getting to know each and every single one of you. You are the last cohort that I've seen all the way through, and watching you all connect with each other, watching your growth, makes me so happy. And I'm so excited to see all the wonderful things you accomplish beyond the fellowship, and hope that we can stay in touch. And I say at the beginning of every selection, once a part of the Camelback fam, always a part of the Camelback fam, and so you're fam to me. So even if I'm not officially part of Camelback, if there's anything I can do for you, please hit me up. Follow me on LinkedIn, we can stay connected on there. I think I've also shared my personal email in the channel. So if you need anything, I'm here. But it was so good getting to know you all, and I'm so happy and so proud of you. I won't be able to celebrate with you tomorrow, but I hope you find some time to celebrate yourselves and celebrate with each other. Definitely finish your surveys.
Yeah, y'all are lucky. I don't think I have Michaela's personal email address.
Didn't I give it to you? I will. It's just the fellows.
Once y'all are done with your daily survey, you are free to go about your day. Bye. Bye, Aisha. Bye, Tony. Bye, Justin. Yeah. Bye, Robert. Bye, Brianna. Are you raising your hand?
Approximately one at a time, taking us out. Have a good one.
Y'all are going too fast. Bye. Brianna, are you raising your hand or are you waving?
No, sometimes it does that. It just,
okay.
in class, because I have the class thing on, that, yeah, sometimes it just raises your hand.
I got you. Well, and
I was
see you
trying to
tomorrow.
think.
I appreciate that.
All right, guys, I'm back. I wonder where Kais is. I got some new mics coming in, Trent. I got some new mics coming in.